Hello, everyone. My name is Allison Merker-Garner, and this video is concerning transformation. That's a word we hear a lot on Facebook. I read it in articles. It's constantly referred to in classes I take or teach. What is transformation? What is it really? What are the components of transformation? And what can you identify for yourself as transformative? That's a good question, because I think there are a lot of answers out there and they aren't all the same. But the way I define it is through a process. Transformation requires a shift in insight and thinking. For example, when you are, let's say, having a gambling problem and you become aware that you have a gambling problem, you have faced that. And so the awareness is there, and then you have a shift in perception when you realize, oh, I have a gambling problem because I'm seeking comfort. I'm seeking some kind of disconnect or disassociation from the world and not wanting to face it. So instead, I'm doing something that makes me feel good right away, or I think will make me feel good right away. So that would be an example of a mindset shift, what I call mindset. Other people can call that an insight shift. I've also seen that and had it explained as a kind of space, mental space change. It's not transformative yet, but it is that aha moment of, oh, I see something I didn't see before. I'm aware of it, and now I see something that I didn't know before, and that awareness that changes my thinking. So when we do in our exercises or in some of the experiences I offer in introductory classes, on some of my YouTube videos, these things are designed to create the opportunity for that shift to happen. It's internal in these cases. So you're calming the system, becoming present in the moment, and allowing a connection to happen with yourself. And through that connection is an awareness. You become aware that you're numb. You don't feel anything. You become aware of a deep sadness or an excitement or a fear. Something may come up in that experience that is useful. It's not a shift yet. It's an awareness. And when you bring some attention to that awareness and some curiosity around it, it can become a shift in perception. Why is that bothering me? Why do I have an issue with this? Why is that a trigger? There's an answer for that somewhere. And it's beyond what you're looking at. It may be connected to something totally in your mind, in your conscious mind, unrelated. But in your neural system is not unrelated. It is related. That's the M in MAP called mindset shift. When we go behind that awareness and that connection with self and that curiosity, when we go a little deeper into that, we start to see that the shift alone is not sustainable. Just understanding that you have an addiction or that you have a trigger is not going to change it. It takes involvement. It takes embodiment. It takes some action to create the shift that you want in behavior, in thinking, in your belief system. Takes action. So after we have a shift and an awareness and that aha moment, then we have the opportunity to create opportunities to make a choice with that, so that the next time something comes up or that person triggers you again, or you are faced with taking another drink, you have now an awareness to stop and pause, almost as if you're witnessing this event, and take the choice, make the decision to do something different. Now we're taking that insight, that special mind awareness, that perception shift that you made, and we're integrating it into action, into your doing. That's involving more than just your thinking. It's involving your body. It's connecting the two so that you stop and you make the choice, I'm not going to do that, or I'm going to do this instead. And so now we're starting to install that shift. It's not a transformation yet. It's still kind of, it's change, and it's change for the better. It's not transformative yet. It's not a habit. It's not defining your state of being. It's not a trait that you have. It's still very intentional and still very conscious. So what makes it transformative? What makes a behavior or a way of being or a way of thinking, what makes that a transformation? And the answer to that is habit, is sustainability. It's making it so practiced so that every single time this thing comes up, you make the choice that's more healthy for you. That you do that so often that it becomes the new response to it. It becomes the new habit, the new routine. And when that occurs, then you have transformed yourself. So what do we do to bring it to that state? We embody it. The answer is we embody it. We have the perceptual shift. We support it with action, intentional choice, and then we practice it. We practice it and practice it so it becomes a habit. And we practice it by involving our whole selves into the process. So when I refer to things like SPARCK or FLOWR, SPARCK, SPARCK, is an acronym for how we learn, how we integrate, how we somatically absorb and integrate and install a change. Children do it when they're learning how to play an instrument, they're learning in school. We do it every time we develop ourselves in a skill or a concept or a way of being. We're integrating. We're using sensory, affective, physical, kinesthetic, psychological, emotional response. And then we're practicing it to become something we know. That's what SPARK is. And when we want to make it sustainable, when we want to reach that third level of practice and integrating to make it a habit, then we need FLOWR. And so when I refer to FLOWR, FLOWR, OWR, yes, FLOWR without the E, I'm referring to the practice in resilience and the practice of resilience that we must do to make a change transformative, to integrate it fully into our being. Now, where does this come from? It comes from everywhere. If you look at Gabor Mate's work, he's a physician. He's worked with many, 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 many people through the years. He's now, 80? And he has written books, The Myth of Normal being the most recent. And his experience is this very thing. As a physician, he has observed that the medical side of things doesn't always address the transformation we want or he wants to have with his patients. It takes something that connects with the self. It takes an insight. It takes practice and integration for it to be sustainable, to be truly turning an illness around. Daniel Siegel, who is a psychiatrist that also has done a lot of work with attachment theory. He's the founder of Mindsight and interpersonal neurobiology. Same thing. From a medical standpoint, we have a lot of information. From a personal psychological standpoint, we have a lot of information. His work is interpersonal. It takes the neurobiology and the personal and brings it together. Together, we can reverse, neutralize, or eradicate the things that we don't want. So if you look at other systems of thought, you'll see a similarity between those systems of thought and how we can change behavior, we can change and improve our health, our physical health, our mental health, our psychological health, by integrating and connecting with ourselves and all aspects of our being. So I call this MAP, Mindset, Approach, and Practice. When I refer to MAP, I'm referring to those 3 steps of transformation. I use SPARCK interchangeably with approach because it lists what that approach is. It's the same thing, it's just a little bit more detailed. And FLOWR is really the 3rd stage. It's the practice stage, the sustainability of flow, of love, of oneness, of wonder within resilience. And we have ways of practicing that. If we're working with the instrument, we work with the instrument for that flexibility, that resilience in the moment. And being okay in that, being able to have the mindset that supports that, to practice the approach that supports that. If we're working on something that has to do with our behavior or well-being, it's the same thing. We modify the approach to be relevant and meaningful to what we're doing and what we want. But it's the same idea. This is transformation. This is why I'm a transformational coach. This is why I'm in transformance art as a violinist. This is why I do this kind of work, because this is what keeps us alive. This is what keeps us growing as human beings and as artists. It's healing work, yes. It's also growing work. So, transformance, transformation, transformative. These all have to do with change, the specific kind of change that is embodied and is sustainable. Thank you.